So the angel comes in, getting back to our passage in Acts 5. The angel comes back, and he commands them to go and stand and speak to the people in the temple the whole message of this life. Verse 21. Upon hearing this, they entered into the temple about daybreak and began to teach. Now when the high priest and his associates came, they called the council together. Even all the senate of the sons of Israel, and sent orders to the prison house for them to be brought. But the officers who came did not find them in the prison. And they returned and reported back, saying, "We found the prison house locked quite securely, and the guards were standing at the doors. But when we opened up, we found no one inside." Now when the captain of the temple guard and the chief priests heard these words, they were greatly perplexed about them as to what would come of this. But someone came in and reported to them, "The men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people." Now I want to point out something here. This is the second miracle that has taken place to which the Sanhedrin and the Sadducees, of which they were a part of, had witnessed. The first miracle to which they were a witness was the healing of the lame man. Remember that? The man who sat at the temple gate, which was called what? Beautiful. Remember? And remember when Peter and John were standing there, and here's this lame man, probably a big smile on his face, and they could not deny the miracle that had taken place. They couldn't deny it. I mean, all of Israel could not deny it. And yet, what did they do with the miracle? Was the miracle enough to convince them that Jesus was the Christ? No. What did they do with the evidence? They suppressed it. Because the recalcitrant unbeliever who does not want to know God, he does what Paul describes in Romans 1:18. He suppresses the truth and unrighteousness. And no amount of argumentation, no amount of miracles. I mean, you could present 1,000 miracles to them. It doesn't matter. They suppress the truth and unrighteousness. And that's what happened with Christ, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Because when Christ walked the earth in hypostatic union during the time of his ministry, every word that he spoke could not have been more perfectly stated than when he said it, to whom he said it, in the context in which he said it. He showed perfect love. Could not have been more perfectly shown than when he showed it, to whom he showed it, in every context in which he had demonstrated it, right? He showed miracle after miracle after miracle, casting out demons, healing the sick, raising the dead. And even though people saw miracles, they heard perfect truth, they saw perfect demonstrations of love, did they believe? No. What did they do with the truth that they saw? They suppressed the truth and unrighteousness. And I've made the point time and time again that if we could somehow be as perfect as Christ, if all of our words and all of our actions could be as perfect as Christ, and if we could somehow perform the miracles that he performed, we would get no better response. Because in the end, it's a matter of a person's heart. That what people do with that is they suppress the truth and unrighteousness.